Let's go! A friendly doggy. Nice, nice. Ah!
Yes, it's PewGun and I'm finally reviewing an indie first-person shooter. But this one is pretty different from the rest that you might expect. And it even has a really interesting history that I'll take a dive on. So let's take a look at Snap the Sentinel and why I love it so much. And what better way to start this with talking about Sonic, the Blue Mouse Rat. I'll cut it as short as possible here, but this guy called Sonic the Hedgehog has games and a pretty massive fan base. And people love him so much that they make their own Sonic fan games that are usually better than what Sonic Team develops. One of the more well-known Sonic fan games outside there is called Sonic Robo Blast 2 or SRB2, which runs on GZ Doom, a source port engine of Doom that has new cool features like 3D slopes, dynamic lightings, and 3D models, which is a big thing. And it's definitely an upgrade over those flat 2D sprites. And of course, like Doom, SRB2 also has mods, and one of them is a kart racer called SRB2K, developed by a bunch of cool people you might know called Kart Crew. And apparently this mod is also getting its own sequel too, so wouldn't that be called SRB2K2 or SRB3K? I have no idea to be honest, but good luck with naming that, guys. And this is where Snap, our favorite turtle, shows up, since the game is actually developed by fellow Kart Crew programmer, The Real Salt, along with 7th Sentinel as the creator, co-developer, and voice of Snap himself. So with that a bit of history done, it's no surprise that this game takes some really nice inspirations from 16-bit era games like Sonic obviously, with gameplay and graphics of early 90s FPS games and run-gun titles like Gunstar Heroes, which is, by the way, a personal favorite of mine. Please play it. The music too is sequenced to sound like FM synths on the Sega Genesis with its Yamaha sound chip, which is great. And I really wish the soundtrack of this game was on YouTube so I don't have to manually record the soundtrack in the game myself and export them in. The story of this game is interesting. It's about this rich shark dude CEO guy called Conrad Ocean who was exiled from the Seven Seas, which made him...
For time constraint reasons, this part of the video has been removed.
You'd probably expect this game to explain all of that in some intro cutscene, but you just immediately get started with shooting enemies like in Doom or Duke Nukem 3D. And the only reason why I know all of this is because I went on their website on itch.io. And before I talk about the gameplay, I'd like to give out some tips with the settings for a much better experience in this game. Like, in the advanced settings on the color palette, use true color instead of palette, so basically the colors look better and doesn't have this old school looking color gradient that sticks out to me since it isn't dittered. And if you have trouble with performance like I do with recording gameplay footage on what's essentially land waste from a decade ago, you can manually lower down the resolution even more, and this one roughly 60:9 480p. And also there's this super secret dot telling on GZ Doom settings, and you can map some keys for quick load and save. Trust me, you really need that later. Anyways, on the gameplay end, the first stage starts on our house, which has a beautifully modeled room in my opinion. And outside you also have a small pond, and you should probably wait for a robot here to appear with an oil drum and shoot him so the pond isn't harmed, because you know you're saving sea life. And you can actually get this secret near your house too.
Now we're talking.
This stage is more like a small sized tutorial where you learn stuff like literally kicking stuff to interact by right clicking, and this is where the game shows its difference with other FPS games. Instead of having different weapons, the only gun you have is this revolver, which I'm fine with because that reload animation. What makes this weapon less boring though is you get power-up canisters that lets you have different types of limited ammo for your revolver. A lot of these power-ups were directly inspired on ones from Gunstar Heroes, but there's also some original ones like bombs and charge.
You're pretty good.
Something that can also make your gameplay easier is by being able to lock on enemies with an aiming reticle you can use by pressing the spacebar. Unfortunately, you have to manually move where you want to aim next and press the button again if you want to lock on different targets, but it never really annoyed me while I was shooting in the game. So after learning those abilities, you walk away in this empty desert and psych! You have your first encounter with Ocean.
Don't tell me you're the one behind all these robots dumping oil into the sea?
My. What a thing to accuse of someone you just met. I don't know who you think you are, but I'm a very busy shark. I'm done with my extra important business here, so I'll be on my way.
Hey, wait! Huh?
He was just an hologram and you move to stage 2. And this is where things get more serious. This stage introduces these annoying green Roomba-like enemies called snails. They explode and take a large amount of your health if you get close, and there's also pistachios that always appear as a pack. And they're pretty annoying to deal with. This stage also introduces you to Snap's most powerful ability called Set the Crash. When the star meter on your HUD is full, just press Q and you will snap. This will also be really helpful for dealing with big damages with bosses later on. And after that, it's the end of stage 2. And it's now time for stage 3 and 4, which basically takes the same place underground in a cave, and they're personally one of my favorite stages because you explore around underground finding keys and backtrack around the map. It's like very open world. Something I'll never get though is what are these big yellow things that fall down that has orange speed bump strips. But also, I never get why the elevator leading you to stage 5 has a similar design but it's green instead. And in that stage you get out of the cave, shoot rock walls that has bombs, I guess. I don't know, it's pretty short. And you meet Ocean.
There you are, Ocean.
So, you're the one destroying my metallic minions. I should have known. Cost of damages have skyrocketed since I first saw you. You've wandered right into my trap.
What the?
And like last time, Snap gets struck and falls down underground to fight the first real boss, driller called Augur. All you have to do is actually just shoot the side drills first and never touch the boss at all, and then shoot the main drill and then you're done.
Let's go.
Once defeated, the floor suddenly rises up for some reason and you go to stage 6. It has beaches that it's really cool building and I love this skybox. I would say this is my favorite stage, but there's another later on that you will see. This stage also introduces this annoying orange troll literally called Arson that shoots blue flames, so whatever you do, don't get hit by them or else you'll immediately just burn and die. After dealing with a bunch of more enemies, you finally exit the building and catch Ocean heading to a ship. And you go inside that ship with a crate that conveniently is placed outside the ship. Personally, this is my most hated stage because this is what happens.
Bomb blast.
And then there's the infamous oil maze. This stage is basically just a frustrating linear robot killing spree, and it ends with the most pathetic boss in this game. Literally just 3 big red eyes. And the only form of attack they do is bringing 2 robots sometimes, and that's basically it. That stage might have been a bummer and all for me, but next one is my favorite stage, which is stage 8, the city. The level design again encourages you to explore around, find your keys while crossing roads, going in buildings, shooting along at a park, and going to the subway. Near the end, you also get to blow up cars, so you can go to stage 9. This stage is pretty straightforward, which is good. The main part of this stage is the warehouse of Reef Skyscraper, and yeah, Ocean's company is ironically called Reef. In that warehouse, there's a big door that requires 3 keys, so you go around and shoot robots and find 3 keys. The stage also introduces the last robot, which is literally a prism that shoots lasers and looks like that one angel from Evangelion. Once you get all the 3 keys and open the door, you go in the elevator where you shoot a bunch of enemies you've encountered so far, and when you're done with that, it's finally time for the final stage, which is stage 10. Not much interesting here other than this reference to Doom and this big 3D key that only ever gets used, this big door, and what's inside of it is this teleporter which teleports you to the helipad. And
it's that blasted turtle again! How can you destroy everything I throw at you?
I'm about to snap! I'll take you down right now!
You think I'd ever succumb to you? Let's get one thing straight, Bandana Geek. I am the CEO!
Well, here's Ocean. This is by far the hardest boss, and your strategy here is going round and round to avoid his hits and quickly getting power-ups and health canisters. And if you followed what I said in my tips before, and also there's this super secret don't tell anyone GZ Doom settings, and you can map some keys for a quick load and save. Trust me, you really need that later. You can also use quick save here if you're having a bad time, so you can beat him up easier. And once you do, he explodes, and you sigh because it's now all over.
What?
There you learn that it's just a robot dummy of Ocean, and the real one is somewhere else hiding. And this makes Snap angry, so he shoots Robot Ocean one last time. After that, he is tired, so he goes home for some rest.
First I need to go home and take a nap.
And then you unlock the hard mode if you want to snap even more and try slightly modified stages, or even try the multiplayer. It has co-op and versus matches. Unfortunately, I've never tried the multiplayer yet, but from what I've seen with other people's gameplay, it's pretty solid. And that is Snap the Sentinel so far in its current state. It's a very fun FPS game that stands out from the other crowd of indie FPS games I know because of its 16-bit inspired art direction and music, mixed with the fun arcade run-and-gun gameplay. Even if the difficulty of the game sometimes gets unfair and some of the stages have a very lackluster design, all of the game feels really well made with love and care, and this is why I really love this game, and I think it holds a special place in my heart as one of those special indie games that I'll always keep playing on itch. And so I'm absolutely excited to see how much episode 2 shows, more especially with its story and stage design, maybe even introduce more characters. With that said, you guys should go really check out this game on itch.io, and if you want to support the people working on this game, you should go check them out as well. And also remember to never kick a cactus because it hurts.